Get sober, buckle up, and slow down. Good evening, Guam. I'm Jeff Marchessault. This is News Watch. With roadway fatalities trending 50% higher year over year so far, Highway Patrol cut straight to the chase. Too many drivers are speeding, drinking, and not belting in.
If we look at the total number of crashes last year, we had 12. We haven't even completed April yet, and we're up to 6. We've already met 50% of last year's total number of deaths on the roadway, and that's alarming.
Officer John Gamboa tells Guam News Watch that almost all of the recent fatalities and near fatalities have occurred on stretches of highway in near perfect condition with anti-skid protection away from construction zones, and urges motorists to wear seatbelts, slow down, and don't drive on booze or drugs. Now, tonight, a story about a generous family man and beloved co-worker who lost his life on Guam roads last month, and the grieving family he leaves behind. His name was Tomas Torres Jr., and everybody loved him.
To me, he was like my brother and also a father.
Affectionately known as Uncle Tommy, where he was head handyman in charge at Mercy Heights Nursery and Kindergarten, Torres died March 14th when he lost control of his motorcycle, hit this Route 4 railing in Jotnya, and broke his back on a ride with his younger brothers. Uncle Tommy's wife says although the spinal injury killed him, he was not wearing a helmet and did suffer a head wound in the wreck. Nevertheless, she says he checked his bike carefully the night before, and his brother says he rode all the way from Jigo that day without problems. Normally this time of year, Uncle Tommy would be preparing Mercy Heights for the school's spring musical. Down the street at St. Anthony's, his brothers are doing the same. Their similar lines of work may be an indication of just how close these guys were. Not only did they bike together, but Tommy inspired them to join the military. Fred followed in Tommy's footsteps.
We were all in the aviation unit. So was my twin brother. So it was 4 of us in the United States Army at that time, all in the aviation unit.
Paul joined the Marines, and nobody can forget their brother's special sacrifice.
He even helped my brother Ben out, the third oldest of the boys, from not going to Vietnam.
It's been over a month since the accident, but Fred can't stop thinking about that tragic day on Route 4.
So from there, we just started from Jigo, started towards Jotnya area, and that's where it happened, where my brother just lost control of the bike.
He came in the room and then he said, "Mrs. Torres, I'm going to be frank with you, but your husband died."
I just miss him.
A special person, a family in grief, a fast turn, and a painful reminder that we can never be too careful when navigating the open road. Lack of funds and broken down ambulances, both among issues the Guam Fire Department brought to today's roundtable meeting with senators. The forum gives GFD the chance to tell lawmakers about the department's challenges. GFD owns 14 ambulances, but only 6 service the entire island. Firefighters say they need over $95,000 to repair the remaining 8 vehicles and to get them back on the road. Funds the department doesn't have due to budgeting constraints. Fortunately, functional federal ambulances may be forthcoming. The local Air and Navy bases are selling used vans at low cost.
What we have found is that the ambulances that they do turn into Durham or still have service life in them relative to our units. Their mileage is relatively low, as well as the condition is relatively good compared to ours.
San Nicolas says GFD can obtain a federal ambulance for as low as $8,000, a big savings since a new one can cost close to $70,000. After the roundtable hosted by Senator Adolfo Palacios today, late this afternoon, Senator Ray Tenorio pitched a bill to repair the broken ambulances at a cost of $100,000. Coming up, how a little volunteer time helps bring healing to hospital patients. Welcome back. This just in, folks. The airspace over Europe has finally reopened after a 1-week closure. I'm sure you're familiar with this story due to volcanic ash. Could the same chaos happen here? Tina Chow on a group pushing for more volcano monitoring in our region.
Anatahan to our north has shown its volcanic fury, spewing ash that settled in thick layers on the mountain, killing vegetation and animals. The air was left smoky for days. Future eruptions could be much worse. That's why a team from Southern Methodist University has been working with USGS to put a monitoring network in place along the island chain.
The monitoring gives advance warning. Once the volcanic ash is in the air, we track it with satellites. But we need to know that the volcano is ramping up toward eruption.
Just last month, James Quick and his team installed this new seismic monitoring station on Anatahan. There is now 2 on that island and another on nearby Surigan. But Quick believes that's not nearly enough. And if the winds turn south, volcanic ash could wreak havoc on the aviation industry on Guam. That's what happened in Europe this past week. And there was this one back in 1989. A KLM plane flew into an ash cloud from Alaska's Mount Redoubt, the recording between the cockpit and ground control. Fortunately, the plane did regain power. Scientists are pushing more monitoring to prevent similar incidents.
There is no way for a pilot on board in flight to tell the difference between a volcanic ash cloud and a regular meteoric cloud. And so for that reason, you really need to have the volcanic monitoring on the ground.
In the fall, Quick wants to add 2 more monitoring devices on Anatahan. The hope is to expand the network up to Pagan. For Guam News Watch, I'm Tina Chow.
At Supreme Court today, they're safe, protected, and armed to the teeth. Today, the Marshal Service for the Judiciary of Guam are presented with 12 M16 rifles. Chief Justice Robert Torres explains how the marshals can better serve the judicial process now that they have these high-powered assault rifles in their arsenal.
Our Marshal Service has responsibility for protection of the judicial process. By ensuring a safe and secure conduct of the judicial process, we can ensure that the principles of the rule of law. Our marshals are also tasked with having to apprehend fugitives.
The M16s came from the Defense Reutilization and Marketing Service. This service disposes of excess property received from the military services and is then reused by the Department of Defense, other federal agencies, or donated to state or local governments. Through this service, GPD also secured a total of 115 M16s, and Customs and Quarantine will receive 15 of their own. They came to Guam Memorial Hospital to spread cheer and well wishes to patients, and for 2-year-old Andre Nonesa, they sang happy birthday. AmeriCorps cares. That's what brought dozens of young adults to GMH today. The volunteers are part of the AmeriCorps program and are doing community service in exchange for financial assistance for college. AmeriCorps Program Director for Sanctuary George Salas says today's event is part of AmeriCorps' celebration of Volunteer Week, which runs April 17th through the 26th. Volunteers also participated in a visit to St. Dominic's Home for the Elderly and to reading programs in Guam's Head Start classrooms. But for little Andre, the visit and happy birthday wishes were met with a kind of appreciation that words could never capture. That's the latest. For more, log on to GuamNewsWatch.com and check out our half-hour cast launching April 26th. Thanks for watching and good night.